Dave Dodson is a professor of management at Stanford Business School, an investor in several businesses, is with us live again tonight to help listen to and give some advice to some of our small businesses tonight. It's good to have you on board. Nice to see you again.
Always good to be here.
Our first owner. Good to have you, Dave. Lauren Greenspan, we want to welcome, the owner of a normally very busy Tuffy Tire and Auto Service Center in downtown Chicago. Car sales are down. People who own cars aren't on the road, meaning fewer repairs. So how have you been handling your business?
Very carefully, very carefully. We've just been doing what we can, servicing the vehicles that we get, and just trying to keep my guys in the shop and getting paid.
So, Lauren, I was thinking, fixing cars is a team sport. Generally, more than one person is at the car, and you're in such close quarters there. How are you managing? I mean, you're essential business. How are you managing this in a world of social distancing?
Yeah, very early on, we had a shop meeting, and we all came to the understanding and agreement that we're a family just the same. And we all came to the agreement that we would come to work and we would go home. And, if we had to go shopping or anything, we would tell each other, hey, I had to go to the store this weekend. And, if anybody was showing any symptoms or feeling sick, they would stay home and go see the doctor. And so far, we've been very lucky.
Now, that must be tough, though, because to some extent, you're sort of betting your business on the fact that this family, your employees are all going to follow the social distancing rules that you've asked them to do. That's quite a bet you're making.
Yes, it is. And from a customer-facing perspective, it's much easier, to follow those social distancing guidelines. In the back shop, like you said, auto repair, sometimes is a collaborative effort. And so my guys can't maintain that 6-foot distance that has been recommended. That's why, we did take it very seriously that we are going to treat this as a close-knit family.
Yeah.
Lauren, we're just looking at a graphic that shows since opening on May 1st, new cases in Illinois are up 66%. Now, the good news is testing has been up 90%. But what do you find from your consumer as we are seeing the case number continue to grow there?
It's interesting. We were just talking about this in the shop today. This week, it seems like there's been a change in attitude. For the past 2 months, the streets have been dead. The sidewalks have been dead. Nobody wanted to go out. And then this week, all of a sudden, it's like someone flipped a switch and the roads were busy. The sidewalks were full of people running, walking. Everybody's maintaining their distance, but they want to get outside.
Lauren, I know that it looks like maybe business is coming back, but your company was saved because of the government programs, the disaster relief program and the PPP. And I'm wondering, you are out there in middle America talking to your customers, talking to your employees. What is going on in Washington, D.C. that the policy is being set by politicians and large company owners instead of people like you? I mean, why aren't we asking people like you what you need?
That's a very good question. I think a lot of the policies are being set with good intentions, but the execution is lacking because there is no input from the small business owner. I don't have a big lobby group. I don't have the ability to call and get my congressman on the phone and get my pet projects funded. I'm basically at the mercy of what the federal government was able to do. I was very lucky that my funding came through early on. I was able to keep my doors open and keep my team employed. But if the federal government really wanted to take care of small business, they would talk to small business owners.
Yeah.
Dave Dodson, it sounds like you're still pretty critical of the government response on small business, even though they were able to add more funding to reach more small businesses.
Well, what I think is you look at Lauren's business, and Lauren's business was saved from a government program that had elements of a good design. The problem was there's for every Lauren that got a loan, what about all the ones that didn't get a loan? That's the part that I'm concerned about. And the way the PPP loan was structured, so that the money has to be used in a certain way or you don't have forgiveness. Well, that's okay for big companies who have huge payrolls, but there's a lot of companies out there that don't have huge payrolls. They need that money for something other than payroll. And that's where I would just wish government would reach out and talk to people like Lauren and ask them what they need.
Or watch us tonight. Lauren, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Welcome back to our CNBC special report. Let's welcome tonight Doris and Marco Montoya of Dorset's Peruvian Pastries. They sell their baked goods mostly to farmers markets and third-party retailers. They've seen a drastic drop in sales. Good to see you both. Thank you both for joining us. So Doris, tell us what business has been like since the shutdown occurred. Are there any farmers markets still open?
Yeah, well, the farmers market, they closed, but there was just one farmers market that was helping the entrepreneurs, the small businesses, with pre-orders. And I know that there is another one that we are working with now that also has a pilot program and is doing the same thing, pre-orders, prepaid orders. So that's what they are working right now, just to.
Doris, you're the American dream. You found an idea, a product that people wanted, and you've given them something that they want. And each year you sell more of it. I mean, that's really the American dream. And independent businesses like yours represent almost half the employment in the country. So congratulations to you. But then all of a sudden this happens, and it has nothing to do with the way you ran your business. It must be such a shock for you. But then I understand that you still haven't been able to get a PPP loan. What's that journey been like?
Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard to get it. The application was hard to do. I applied. I sent the application through an email, and then they told me, well, I didn't get an answer. Then I apply again through their website. It was hard because every time that I wanted to look for some information that they were asking to, the program was gone. I had to start again and again. So it took me like a week to do that. Finally, I got a receipt number of the application. And today, while I was coming here to see Marco, I received an email that it was approved.
Well, that's terrific news. And I'd like to think it was because they knew you were going to be on CNBC tonight and we were going to talk about that. So congratulations for that. And really, isn't this kind of exactly? Is this kind of loan the thing that keeps you alive, and so you can get to the other side? Because absent this loan, with all the farmers markets closed, what were you going to do?
Yeah. So we actually, to be honest, we were definitely holding on to a lot of hope when it came to these loans. We didn't really necessarily have a plan otherwise. Obviously, this came very unexpected. Everyone's saying these are unprecedented times, and you can't really prepare for something like this as a small business. So we're very hopeful on these loans, and these are great news that we were approved today, but it was definitely a long process, and just believing that it was going to happen, and finally it did.
Glad you made it.
I'm just curious, Marco, what you're going to do with the loans, with the money.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have different plans, especially now that we have those funds available. First and foremost, we definitely want to strengthen the products that we already have. So our most popular pastry is the alfajor, and we have a couple of different flavors for that. We've seen great success with it. We definitely want to enhance the promotion of it, whether it's through social media or through other different channels as well, to engage with our customers, especially in the day and age that we live in today. It's very hard to promote them face to face. So we're going to have to really utilize digital marketing for that. And then on top of that, we are also going to focus more on updating our packaging to make sure it's an attractive product for customers, as well as any lab work that needs to be done will also go into that.
Well, Doris and Marco, congratulations on the things that you're doing and the innovations that you've been doing to try to get through this period, and also what it's going to be like afterwards. But I've had a question. This is still going to be a tough period for you. What is this doing to your retirement and your plans for the future?
My plan for the future, it's like, I know that I already have my kids. I raised my kids and they are doing their own life, but I think that I have more years to go. So I know that that we have a good product. So I know that we are going to do great. I have faith on that. And I am planning to the future too, that I want to do this for my grandkids also. So I want them to have this already as a successful business. So I keep working. I don't know. Probably until God is going to call me, but I would love to keep working.
Well, we hope so. We've been looking at pictures of your pastries, and they look absolutely delicious. Good luck to both of you, and thank you for joining us tonight, Doris and Marco Montoya. Now to Flags of Valor, founded by 2 veteran special ops pilots who hire other combat veterans to design and manufacture rustic wood and metal flags. Co-founder and owner Brian Stortz joins us now from Ashburn, Virginia. Brian, welcome. So how do you and other veterans stand together in the face of crisis? What has your experience been like?
Well, I mean, Sarah, thanks for having us. It's been crazy. Let's be honest, a small business and the uncertainty of everything. And no matter how you plan and forecast, 6 months, a year, 3 years out, things change. And I think that, our, dynamic nature of being veterans and deploying a lot, it's all related, and we just have to adapt and pivot.
Well, Brian, I was thinking about your journey, 9 deployments overseas for combat missions, and then you come back to the United States. And in a lot of ways, you're continuing the fight for the country by bringing manufacturing to the United States, homegrown products, raw materials from the United States. And then, boom, all of a sudden, this happens. But then I was thinking, maybe this is an opportunity for you, because I see so often in small businesses where a lot of energy generates very little profits. Maybe it's a time to move away from the retail side of it, which is probably a fair amount of work, and just step on the gas on the parts of your business that now are really working.
Dave, absolutely. We, 10% of our revenue is from retail, and as that shut down, you have to think outside the box. I mean, we can't make PPE. We can't re-engineer our machines and retool our machines to make face masks and hand sanitizer. So we had to think outside the box. And what could we do? Well, kids are stuck at home, and we pivoted to how do we make an educational product that kids can do and keep being creative and build something with their family and learn something from an educational experience and talk about what the greatest country in the world means to them. And we did that with something as simple as an $18.50 item, and it saved us before the PPP. And we're very grateful for that. We're very grateful to, reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, well, you're listening now, and your customers are telling you this is something we want. And this could be an amazing opportunity as you build your brand, because I think about, you're not just selling flags. I mean, you're really creating a brand that could be something pretty substantial over time, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, we started making flags in my garage. We've exceeded that. We've come full scale. I mean, we can make 15 to 35,000 units a year. So we've exceeded the garage-based business that we started, and now we are a veteran American manufacturer. So if it's metal, if it's wood, if it's a company wants to bring back their supply chain back to America, that's what we've been convincing people. We've been shouting it from the rooftops for 5 years, like Made in America matters. And how do we continue to do that? Because it doesn't just impact us; it impacts the timber companies, it impacts the small business that supplies the paper products that go into our advertising, to the box companies, to the shipping suppliers. Like, it affects all of us.
Well, in many ways, you're fighting the war for the middle class, right? Because you're building products that are good middle-class manufacturing jobs, which the middle class has been gutted over the last, almost a generation. Which makes me think about when you applied for your loan, which was essential for your success, and it's worked out really well for you because you brought your employees back. But I thought it was interesting that the first time you applied for your loan, you were turned down.
We were, as much as we tried, and as much as, my business partner handled that, and he spent, hundreds of hours working that. And unfortunately, it didn't happen for us. And we keep saying this, but as hard as it was for us to not get approved the first time, we still got approved. And we're not going to complain that we got money and that we have to pay taxes on it. I mean, it's helping us. We could either, roll over or lean forward, and we chose to do the latter, and that was before the PPP. So, thanks to our great network, thanks to the Small Business Council within the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and some of our great corporate partners like Under Armour and Under Armour Freedom, like they've been there with us and they help support us as a small business, and we're grateful for that.
Best of luck to you, Brian. The flags look awesome. Thank you for joining us. And thanks to Dave Dodson as well. Good to have you on board.